Late 70s and the 80s, where he was doing his grisly deeds. Over 17 years, he placed and mailed 16 bombs, killed 3, injured close to 24 people, one of whom is Gary Wright, who, by the way, been 34 years, where he picked up a device that shattered and changed his life. Gary Wright is joining us from Folsom, California, to relive that incident. Now, Gary, he wasn't arrested until 9 years later, roughly. In the interim, you're the victim of a bombing. He's obviously placed it there deliberately. What was your life like in the interim?
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges. The physical piece, I talk about that. There's just a lot to that. The healing process is really, really long. So you have that, but you also have, is he coming back? Just before I went in for my second surgery, I received a letter that he had drafted to an attorney in Salt Lake City, indicating that he, being Ted, had spoken to someone in a bar, and they were commiserating on this guy's divorce or this woman's divorce. And he said, look, if you don't knock off and step away and be a better person, I'll come back and give you the same treatment I gave this guy from CAMS, because I'll be back next summer. So there was, some angst there, a lot of worry. And then financial, most people don't know, but that it wasn't covered by insurance, none of the injuries. So that's because it was a terror event, and things have changed a little bit in the United States since then, where after 9/11, if the government deems an event a terrorist attack, then they will pay for it, but the minimums are really high. It's got to be in excess of $5 million. And to put that into perspective, the Boston bombings were not considered a terrorist event during the Boston Marathon. So I was left on my own to take care of medical insurance and all of those kinds of things as well. So that put a bit of pressure on, and, everybody experiences it differently. So I, obviously had my myopic view of what it felt like and what I was going through, and perhaps I was more focused on my finger moving a millionth of an inch more on any given day. But, my family, friends, and others, they were traumatized in their own way, and they had to find a way to deal with it. So, sometimes I tell people don't see these events in exactly the same way, even if they're standing in the same room. Everybody has their perspective. So it's a lot of challenges when one of these things happens.